Hi, I'm making a series of videos for the Whole House Adoption Foster Support Group, and I decided just to make them so I can share them on YouTube and share them in that private group. So if you're interested in the private online group, just comment or message me. Today I'm going to talk about redos. I'd asked the group what they would like to hear about, and someone said they would like to hear about disciplining children who are from foster care or who have been adopted, because it's different. We learned very quickly on that traditional parenting does not work with these kids. It just doesn't. It's like whatever you know about traditional parenting, just wipe that out of your mind. And what we say in ETC parent training is, you need to bring your toolbox, you empty it, and you'll learn, and we'll refill it with some new tools. So the tool I'm going to talk about today is redos. This is a really great tool, and it's often overlooked because not every offense by a child, I'm going to read you a couple things here. Not every offense needs to be treated as a capital offense. Sometimes as parents we go from 0 to 80 with something that the child has done, when not every offense is a capital offense. And I'll give you an example. This is one that happened here in my home. My granddaughter Cecilia, she was sitting at the table and she was supposed to be eating dinner with all of us, and she kept getting down and getting down and getting down and saying she was finished. Now, we might treat that as a capital offense because, oh my goodness, she's being disobedient, she's not doing what she's supposed to do. But really what that is an opportunity for a redo, because she wasn't melting down, she wasn't overwhelmed, she just wanted to get down. And she was 3 at the time. So what you do instead is you do a redo. And the redo is, you give the child an opportunity to do what they were supposed to do in the first place. Get back up in your seat. We're going to eat so many more bites, whatever you decide, or you're going to sit here for so much longer, and then you can get down. And some of the tools that I'm going to share about from Empower to Connect training, they tie together, because at the same time you're giving that child a choice and a voice. Because what my son-in-law said once he was giving her the opportunity to get back in her seat was, you can get back up in your seat by yourself, or I can help you get back up in your seat. It's up to you. So a redo is a really simple way of stopping before the behavior escalates, giving the child an opportunity to redo the way that he's supposed to do it. Because what we have to differentiate is, do we want the child to learn and progress and get hope and healing, or do we want punishment for the child? Because if the answer is we think, oh my goodness, that child needs a punishment, then we're on the wrong track. But if we want that child to grow and succeed and have hope and healing, then a redo is a really quick, simple way. For example, if your children are sitting at the table and they're playing Play-Doh together and one of them grabs the Play-Doh out of another kid's hand, instead of giving them a 10-minute lecture on sharing, just say, let's try that again. Give the Play-Doh back to your sister, to your cousin, whoever it is. And there's a redo that quick. And then you move on. You don't say anything else about it. You don't make a big deal out of it. And if there's an opportunity later in the day to talk about it, then you talk about it. But make it quick, efficient, and move on. Because who doesn't want to move on? How many of us really want to spend our whole day with behaviors escalating and us escalating, behaviors escalating and us escalating? Now, a really great point about redos, you can't wait until your child is already escalated and melting down, because that won't work. It's too late. You have to do these when you see the triggers, or when a behavior happens really quickly, or, you know, a simple example is when a child mouths off to you and tells you, you know, we know these kids can say some things that are very, very hurtful. You know, I hate you, that's stupid. And instead of going in the bathroom and crying, which sometimes we have to do that, is really quickly handle it. Let's try that again, buddy. Give them some words to say if they can't figure out what to say. You know, if they may not even know, especially if a child has been in your home through foster care for a very short period of time, and they say something like, I hate you, or some other, what the cuss, they may not even know that that's not acceptable in your home. But that doesn't mean you need to give them a 15-minute lecture. That just means like, hey, I want you to not say that word. Try saying it this way. Say it this way. Let them say it over. Give them the words to say. Even if you have to give them the words to say, I'm sorry. And even if it takes them, you know, maybe they might come back to you the next day or hours later and say something about it, or ask you a question about it, especially if they're older. I'm not talking about a 3-year-old. A 3-year-old's not going to go think about it. So the key, here's a key to remember. I'll read you this. This is important. Redos are an effective way to prevent behaviors from escalating and to teach and reconnect after the escalation is over. Generally, redos are not effective when a child is escalated, so wait until the child is calm before leading him or her through a redo. And that's another good point. If it already has escalated and the child is on the floor melting down and you're like, there's nothing I can do about it at this very moment, then wait. And after the meltdown is over, walk them through the redo. An example of this is when one of my kiddos was just really freshly home from an orphanage. And at dinner, she would just kind of slump out of her seat, fall to the floor. It was amazing. She would just, in one fluid motion, she was on the floor and she was crying. And sometimes she would throw her silverware. And one of the things that I would do is, when she was calm, walk her through picking up her silverware and getting back up in her seat. That's a redo. Because sometimes as parents we think, oh my goodness, if I just show them how mad I am about this particular behavior, then they'll never do it again. Nah, not true. Especially with these kids who don't have cause and effect thinking, so they're not even thinking. They're in survival mode. They're just trying to make it through the day. They're just trying to make it through. So don't think that just because you escalate and show them how upset that you are, that they're going to just comply. So redos are a quick and effective way of getting your child back on track before the behavior escalates. And like I said, even if you have to walk them through, that's fine. Tell them exactly what to say. Let's not talk like that, buddy. Say this instead. Or give them, like I said, tie in the choices. You can do it this way, or I can help you do it. Just redos actually you're forming, redos are really effective because you're forming a new track in the kid's mind that they wouldn't have before. And that's why redos are so important. Eventually, after thousands of redos, I think it was Dr. Purvis said 400. So aim for 1,000 and that'll be good. Then you've formed a new neural pathway in that child's mind. So thanks for joining me, and I'll keep doing this video series. And like I said, if you want to be part of this private online adoption foster support group, comment on this video or message me. Thanks.